is my first time. One thing that's different, I guess, Chengdu was extremely clean. There was vines like growing on the highway and everything, and there was no smell in the air, no pollution or anything like that.
Yes. I think like Western media portrayal of China is very kind of dystopian. Like there are a lot of like really tall buildings, there's no nature at all. When we went to Chengdu, I was staring at the window and I was like, this is so beautiful. Like there's a lot of ways that I think like city planning has incorporated nature, and I think that has to go with like their climate change initiatives, which I really appreciate, because I wish that we could incorporate more things like that in the American infrastructure, but I've really enjoyed seeing that.
They're a lot more welcoming than I was expecting. Like, they'll come up to you and like ask you, oh, like, are you from America? Blah, blah, blah. How have you been staying? Like, if you speak Chinese to them, they'll be like, oh my god, like, you're so good. Like, shit like that.
Yes. I think in some way it is more free-flowing than I may have originally anticipated, in the sense that everybody here is not heavily monitored society where like your lives are like being directly impacted by everyday like regulations, something like that. People are just living their normal lives.
Yes, yeah. It's actually my first time in any East Asian country. I knew the Chinese cities were going to be much larger than American cities, but I think nothing really prepared me for kind of like the size and scale. I'm from outside Philadelphia, which is one of like the larger cities in the United States, but Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu are all so much larger than even like New York City, our largest city. So that was really amazing to see all of that. And I realized there's not as much of like a culture barrier between me and like Chinese students at university, because I found a lot of like similarities between me and the students at Pt.2, and we had a lot of similar interests.
No, this is probably my 5th time in China, and I'm still learning. You know, like even as I would imagine as a local Chinese person, there's always something new to learn about the diversity of Chinese culture. 我的中文应该还可以吧。对，就我上次来的时候，就去年来的时候，就去年我还在学习怎么用那个二维码扫二维码支付嘛，然后我今年回来就看到已经有人在用那个手掌，就一放在那里就可以支付了，就每一年每一次回来都会有点小小震惊吧。
I think that the first thing I'd probably like to say to them is that everything is a lot further away than it seems, but also I think that I think China in general is a really great place to see a really cool intersection of technological advancement and also traditional culture. You've got so many cities where there are so many temples and ancient buildings that are directly integrated with very modern city blocks, and it's very cool to be driving by and you see a very old temple right next to a new financial center, and I think that that's something that is really hard to see in a lot of other countries, so that's something very unique to China that I really enjoyed seeing.
I'm asked to give 1 or 2 sentences and there's so much to say. I think I'll first say that there's a lot of commonality. Where I'm from in the U.S., we say, I'm from the South. We have a phrase called Southern hospitality, which basically is just like people from the South try to be very hospitable, try to be very friendly, and I feel like a lot of Chinese people have been very much like that. As a foreigner, I've definitely felt like a foreigner. So like, of course, kids will come up to me and say in Chinese, "Wow, 好高，一个外国人." They'll like, especially kids will like grab their mom's hand and be like, "Wow, just look at." Right. No, it's not a negative thing, but it's very clear that there's a difference.
Well, I'll definitely tell them about like some of the amazing people I met here. The PKU students are brilliant and so nice and very patient with the Americans, I would say. And the cities were absolutely beautiful, and the history. We were on like the wall outside of Xi'an, and like that wall in and of itself is like 600 years old, so older than America itself. So the history in China is definitely super rich and super deep. So like history, culturally, cuisine-wise, I think China's like an amazing country.
I think compared to like American society being very much individualistic and just wanting yourself to succeed, I think my family would really enjoy hearing that China is really about a community and making sure that everyone is like going up in the world together.
And I think that it's a lot more foreigner friendly than people think. Like when I was telling people I was coming to Beijing, they were like, oh, like, are you gonna be okay there? Like, I don't know if they're gonna have English, and like they don't have it everywhere, but it's really easy. Things like paying the metro, super easy to use. So like, I feel like even if you didn't know Chinese, you could definitely like find your way around here.
Oh, and it's so safe.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I can't do that where I live.
You know, seeing massive buildings, massive apartment blocks right next to a very ancient, very traditional household, and coupled with small pitches of the 社会主义和新价值观. I think it really describes well the kind of city that Beijing is, which is a city of, in a way, kind of contrasts of both incredible modernity and also traditional values and traditional concepts in architecture.